Welcome back to another episode of Soul Food. I'm your host, Almighty Al Infinite. I'm here with my big boy son. He still hasn't figured out his YouTube name yet, so hopefully he can figure one out so I can give him a correct shout out. So today we have the unboxing of the Black Cement 3. One of my all-time favorite shoes. In fact, it's in my top 3 favorite shoes. Like I told you guys about the foam posit being in my top 5. The Cement 3 is, I probably would say it's either number 1 or number 2. I'd have to give a little bit more thought on that, but it's definitely in my top 3. Breadford being the other one in my top 3. So let's get into this. The 2024 Black Cement 3, it was released last year. I was only able to get one pair. I haven't been able to double up yet, so I haven't even worn my pair. Like I told y'all before on this channel, I was gonna be doing an unboxing of all the shoes that I have on ice. Some are new, some are old because they've been sitting there for a while. This one I got last year. Because I haven't been able to double up, I haven't put it on my feet, so I kind of been keeping it in the stash as a collector until the time comes for me to, or I should say when I'm able to afford another pair without having to jump back and forth between other pairs that are coming out. So as soon as I get a little bit of money freed up, I'll double up and then I'll throw those on the feet. I've had these three times. The first time I had them was in 2011. Then I had them in 2018. And now I got them, well, it's 2025, but I had picked them up in 2024. The 2011 pair, I wore all the time. It was one, like I said, it was one of my favorite shoes. So I was constantly in it. You don't even mess with the Black Cement 3, do you?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't ask for it.
When?
Like in general, like I never, like it seemed like you had like no interest.
I did, but there's just other threes that I would prefer over the cement 3.
Over the Black Cement 3s? You like the white Cement 3s?
Yeah. I mean, I also like the what are those ones? I think the Chicago Bull
Like the
ones.
fire red ones?
Yeah, the fire red ones. I like those are one of my favorite.
Well, the Black Cement 3s, I had them in 2011. I feel like I had 2 pairs in 2011. I'm not really sure, but I know selling them was probably the biggest, not the biggest, but the worst move I could have ever done. Being as though it was like a black and gray shoe and one of my favorites. That's how I kind of learned that it was one of my favorites once it was sold and it was gone. And I'm just constantly thinking about how I want it back. And at that time, buying the shoe back was up there in price. Like some of the older models of the Black Cement 3s from the previous years are up there in price. These are still kind of like, these were like damn near sitting on shelves. Like you could find little scattered sizes here and there for the longest time. You probably still can find a few of these scattered around in different places, especially in the grade school sizes. But and then in 2018, actually, because I learned my lesson in 2011, I picked up 2 pairs in 2018 and didn't wear either one. But financial hardship, I ended up selling both pairs, cashing out well. I think I sold both pairs for like $425 each. And yeah, that was a mistake, but a come up at the same time because I got both of them for retail. I had struck on them in a raffle. Well, I struck on one in a raffle, and then my man had got me a pair like for my birthday because they had released near my birthday in 2018. But a quick story before I jump into these. I remember being in high school. This was like the early 90s, I want to say. Early 90s, being in 9th grade, and I remember a kid coming into school who was from the city, which is AKA New York. For those of you that don't know who that is, I know you probably don't know. That's the name for New York, is they call it the city. I don't know what they call it from your generation. Our generation, they call it the city. So he had came from the city, he had moved from New York to here, and he was going to school here. He had came to my neighborhood on the bus with me to see how I was living in my neighborhood, and we had a sneaker store. The sneaker store that I ended up working at, Boo Boo, actually, was open when I was a kid. And he went to that sneaker store with me, and on the shelf was a pair of Black Cement 3s and a pair of white Cement 3s. At that time, in those 90s, I knew they were Jordans, but I didn't care. So he knew what those were at that age. and said, yo, I need those shoes. And him being from the city and being a little faster and just being ahead with the trends, he was giving me the money. He was a little hustler dude at the time. So I remember going to school and he was like, here, take this bread, buy the shoes for me and bring them to school. Because he wasn't from my neighborhood, he was from another place. So when he came to my neighborhood and seen them, he didn't have the bread. So when he got the bread, he ended up giving me the bread at school. I came, bought the shoes for him. They were like a size 6. He was like a little guy. I bought the size 6, then brought them to him. He freaked them the next day, put them on with his little fit. And I'm looking, I'm like, those shits are fire. Like, just looking at them. And that was like kind of like my introduction and the genesis to the Black Cement 3, but still not enough for me to like be sold. But I knew that that was a dope shoe. And he knew when no one was doing the J's like that, that was a dope shoe. You see what I'm saying? Then he gave me the bread for the white ones. He ended up with both of them. And those were both in the neighborhood. Fast forward, I ended up working for that store 20-something years later. And that's how I was able to get some of the craziest shoes that I have today. So that was like a quick little story about the Black Cement 3s. So that's done. So let's get into it. I wish, oh, they do say Nike right here. I was going to say, I wish they had Nike Air here instead of the Jordan sign. Because for those that don't know, most of the Jordans back in the days, back in the 80s and the early 90s, started off with the Nike Air before it converted into Jordan brand. And then they started, now they do most of the collaborations and quick strike shoes with the Jordan symbol, and they're going back to the Nike Air on the heel and so forth and so on. But yeah, so let's get into this. So they start off, you know, they got the elephant print, that's what they call it, around the bottom of the box, sturdy box. They got the elephant print on the wrapping paper. See that, you know. Double wrapped. You don't even get to the shoe right away. And back in the days when you bought Jordans, like when I was a kid, a little older than you, when you bought Jordans, it came with a retro card. And on the retro card, it would have all the Jordans all the way up into a certain number on it in the picture. And then depending on what Jordan you had, it had the Jordan highlighted, so you knew what number it was, just in case. I mean, most people who bought the Jordan knew the numbers, but for the people that didn't, they had that card. And for those of y'all that are real collectors out there, you know about that retro card. That was a big deal. I wish I still had a retro card or two, which I probably do somewhere. But now they give this thing. I don't even know what this thing is. I've never opened it. Tells the technology, basically, on how this was created and what technology is in it, because they have the air unit in it and so forth and so on. These were created by Tinker Hatfield, which is an ill-ass designer. I think he was only able to create 3 or 4 of the retros. I'd have to do the science, really check into it, but I think he was responsible for 4 Jordans or 3 Jordans. Not really sure.
Did you throw those on yet?
I did not try them on. What happened was one morning, I was wearing something that these went with, and I pulled them out of the box, and I realized I don't have another pair. So they went right back into the box. Didn't put my foot in them at all. And as you see, this is a good leather. A lot of people were like, some people were disappointed in these because they were getting them, and a lot of them had like defects. They were putting like the shoe, one shoe next to the other shoe, and saying that there was no consistency with the elephant print, but it's elephant print. I don't even know how they're going about cutting the texture or putting the elephant print on this material. My pair came out good though, and they were like, "Oh, don't order them online," you know. But I ordered them online. They came with the retro tag. That's beautiful. They smell like pure leather. These are some bad motherfuckers right here. Like I actually love this shoe. Like I said, top three shoe. It's got the black and gray elephant print on the heel, elephant print on the edge of the toe. You know what I mean? Both shoes have a widow's peak. So leather's fine. There's no wrinkles. Some people's was coming with wrinkles. Some people had smooth leather. Some people had like a little bit of the pebble grain. The leather's soft. You can hear it, right? Hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is good. leather tongues. They went back to the original cut, so it's cut a little lower, slimmer profile because they were a little bit bulky the first time they released. I think, you know what's crazy? I think they released originally in 1994, or at least they were retro in 1994. I don't know if the first time he played in them was 1994, because that wouldn't make sense, because I think he started playing in like 86 or something like that. I'm not really sure. But I think the first time they were seen again after him playing in them was like 1994. And then they released in 01. And then they released in 08 in a pack called the Countdown Pack. And believe it or not, you know, you could get this shoe for $155 in 08.
Is that a steal?
Yeah, it came with two shoes. It came with, so the Countdown Pack was when they added two numbers together and they added to 23. You know what I mean? And so this was released in the Countdown Pack alongside of another shoe. I think the 20. It was released with, it was this shoe and the 20, and then it adds up to 23. And so that was in 08. You know what I mean? So that was the next time that they released, and then they dropped in 2011, which was the start of me getting them all over again, because I never got them in 2008. But in 2008, that Countdown Pack was only $310. So that means you got two shoes for $310, where nowadays $310 is like a resale price for one shoe. You know what I mean? This shoe was literally, I think I paid $220. I actually paid $200 for these because I had like mad credit and stuff like that, and I was able to use some of the credit that I had and only get them for like $200 without using. But on the midsole, it's got the Air unit, black leather, red accents on the shoelace holes. It's got that Nike Air on the back. Bring it close so you can see those details. You know. Yeah. This is a beautiful shoe, man. Beautiful shoe. Like I said, when I double up, that's when I throw these on the feet. And like I got a list of things that I need to get before I double up on these. So there's no real rush for me to wear these because I love this shoe so much. Yeah, man, this is a beautiful shoe, and I'm happy to have it. I'm glad I was able to scoop it. Yeah, this is a dope pickup. Maybe, and the crazy part about this is this, like I said, like, people slept on this shoe. The people that are not collectors, like the new age guys like you see, you didn't want them, you didn't ask for them. So like the new age guys didn't really want these. I can't remember what else dropped at the same time as these, but everybody was going for other things. These sat on the shelves or were scattered on the shelves. But what did sit on the shelves was the Olive 9s. So I felt like those and these dropped around the same time, and there was something else that was a little bit more premier to them. But this, as a sneaker head, as a sneaker collector, you have to have the Black Cement 3 in your collection. This and the Bread 4s. Everything else is kind of could fall by the wayside. But I believe that if you're a true sneakerhead and a true sneaker collector, outside of all the hoopla and outside of all the other things that you could possibly buy, Black Cement 3s, True Blue 3s, Cement 4s, and Bread 4s are staples. It's like having a white on white Air Force One and a wheat Timberland. You gotta have them, you know what I mean? Just as a collector. So yeah, that's the Black Cement 3, and we out. Peace.